Hey guys, the newest episode of Amphibia just came out and I'm going to do an analysis of this. And this is a big one, and I mean big one. The three armies and the beginning of the end, especially the second one. This is the build up to the finale of the entire show, with the final two episodes all in and the hardest thing coming out on May the 7th and May the 14th. I'll have analysis videos for them in whenever I want actually. Let's begin with the three armies. The calm before the storm, as many people have said. The plot of this episode is that the Newts and Toads armies are coming to Wardwood to find their resistance. However, the frogs aren't too reluctant on working with Newts and Toads, primarily due to bad history. I think this will probably happen due to King Andrew's 1,000 years before the events of this show. The event in the show, making a law where newts are higher priority than frogs and toads, especially frogs. Toads are sent down a little lower, and then frogs get the worst treatment, since Leaf was a frog who betrayed Andreas back in The Corn the King, which I have an analysis video for that if you can check it out. Part 2 only, because part 1 is with Root of Evil, and that episode doesn't really matter. Anyway, yeah. However, it actually was like 900 years of conflict. So, it wasn't like bam, law made, war start. It was kind of like it eventually, the distrust in each other eventually led to, even further distrust and eventually prejudice and political, instability between the three races, which I like it when shows talk about political stability, especially due to our current events. I think I already made this joke, didn't I? Yeah. The series burning out my brain. Anne says that she will be able to get the three together, due to her back in high school before the events of the show, that she was able to get the band team and track team to work together. And she says that's the only notable thing that she's done before Amphibia. So that's fun. Anyway, the Toads and Newts arrive and almost immediately start hating each other. And it doesn't help that Dratonio and Beatrix, the leaders of the two, are hitting on Hop Hop, who for some reason is the leader of the frogs. So, I mean, that's fun. Anyway, to make sure that they don't fight each other, the weapons are taken to Polly at the weapon check. Again, she doesn't get that much screen time in Season 3B, so I'm glad for the amount of screen time she has before, the series gets destroyed and ended on May 14th. Anyway, so Anne, Sasha, Hop, Grime, Dratonio, and Beatrix all try to make a plan, but it doesn't really go too well when Dratonio, Beatrix, and Hop are arguing. Hop tries to tell his plan to those two, but they don't listen and laugh him off, which doesn't sit well for Hop. So the next thing for Anne and Sasha to do is team exercises, as in like doing movements and having everyone else do it. And this also doesn't go well. It eventually leads to all hell breaking loose between the frogs, newts, and toads, and they go to their weapons where Polly gladly gives their weapons back. And that's actually really funny. Anyway, when they're about to fight, Anne goes full calamity power. Not like the blue eyes and the floating and the fast speed. I mean, the full branches, glowing orb, all that jazz. Anyway, she says that that only they can solve their own problems, which actually goes well. Anyway, Hop, Beatrix, and Dratonio are able to make a plan together after Hop reveals his plan. Then a rumbling sound is heard, and then Mother of Wolves, once again played by Whoopi Goldberg, appears and says that Andrews is not invading Earth in a few days, he's invading Earth tonight. So they must band together and stop the war from happening. Anyway, the next episode is the beginning of the end, which is, well, the title basically explains itself. Anyway, the episode begins with a flashback of Marcy having a sleepover with Sasha and Anne, watching a film that they've seen many times. This goes back to the point of Anne and Sasha taking not caring about Marcy's interests, something that can really damage a relationship. Ship, basically making her isolated from the others. I've heard a theory that this is actually a memory from the core, and no, just no. Also, I was going through the videos to try to find a good clip to pause on, and I just came across this face. Once again, amazing face of Amphibia, beautiful. Anyway, while flying to Utopia to fight off Andreas and his robot army, and eventually find Marcy, which, as we've learned, Marcy is no longer Marcy. She's now Darcy. Anyway, so Anne and Sasha talk about Marcy and her actions for the first time since True Colors. And Sasha thinks that their relationship is beyond repair. Friendship is beyond repair after, she betrayed both of them. Anne thinks that they're able to fix their friendship, and then Sasha blatantly agrees. Anyway, so King Andreas is watching on his, whatever those are, and sees that the rebellion is coming. And he says that it's a bigger army than he thought. And that kind of made me chuckle just a little bit. Anyway, so Sasha rethinks their friendship with Marcy again, but then Anne is able to rethink her into helping her get out of her current situation again. Anyway, when they arrive to the gates into that room, they're guarded by Union and Olivia, their first on-screen appearance since their self-titled episode, Olivia and Union, which is home to one of the darkest scenes of Amphibia. Anyway, so after the event of that, the purple slime collars are put on their necks, which proves that it can not only work for animals, but for animals. Yeah, frogs, yeah. So, and while that's happening, Andreas arrives at the party and begins to fight with the other toads and frogs and newts. Polly says that they're two in sync, which they are, but then Anne and Sasha play their in sync song that they used to do back in the day. And they're able to defeat Olivia and Union, getting rid of their collars and bringing them back to reality. When they get to the music box, they find out that it's a hologram, and and Sasha and the others are captured by none other than Darcy. Anne and Sasha are completely bewildered that Darcy is even real. And Darcy has been relooking Marcy's memories and found out that they weren't really friends anyway. Sasha is really beginning to doubt, but then Anne holds on. So Darcy steps to the front of the ledge and tells the rest of the resistance that their leaders have been captured, and now there's no longer any hope. I mean, their strongest everyone has been captured, so the resistance is kind of dead. Darcy then captures Anne and plans to stab her, killing her, but then Anne outsmarts the core by saying that she has a fraction of the power, which means that they have to keep her alive, but by dissecting her and putting the power back in the box. Even for Amphibia, that's kind of dark. So Andreas is able to start up the portal leading to the invasion of Earth. And Anne is taken away while the others is just like put collars on them, including, unfortunately, the planters and Polly. Anyway, that is the episode, the big episode done, and then All In and the beginning of the end are going to be 2 parts because there's going to be a hell of a lot to talk about in those. Anyway, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you subscribe, and I'm not going to be making a video on Saturday, I think.